Alright, thanks for tuning in. This is Thomper Be Thompin', and here we are, round 2 of the Virginia Championship Hare Scramble Series for 2023. This is a track called CVTR, and it is a notoriously tight one. Just making my way through the J line, giving the old pre-race fist bumps. Yes, this is a great track. A lot of tight pine tree sections, some fast and flowy stuff as well. I am rocking a new GoPro this race.
I guess.
Be safe and let's have fun.
10 seconds!
So I ended up getting a decent start here, which was actually really important because these woods got tight real fast, you'll see. So we're in the 30+ C line. And yeah, you can see everybody gets funneled in real quick here. So I'm behind, I believe that's extra right on the Suzuki. But we all pick up the pace here in a little bit once we all kind of settle in and get it all figured out. But yeah, fantastic course. Very humbling in spots too. I will say though, I'm on this 23 KTM 350 XCF. Some points during this race I wish I might have been on my older 300 XCW. It got tight and my clutch hand is raw. I got a huge blister on it just from feathering the clutch the whole race. I stayed in second for a lot of this tight twisty stuff, just kind of clutching through the bottom of it, because that at least gave you an opportunity to just crack it open and pick up some speed without shifting gears too much. So there's Joe Overstreet getting a good little hop around on the left hand side. He and I go back and forth a few times at the beginning of this race, and I thought he beat me, but I might be wrong. I might have got him by a minute at the end. Yeah, nice pass on the inside. Gnarly little hill climb here. Did not want to stall going up that thing. But yeah, I'm trying out the GoPro Hero 10 versus the normal GoPro Max 360 that I normally use. I take their 360 camera and I use the front-facing lens because that gives you the best field of view, so it's good for standing and sitting. And you can see right here, the GoPro Hero 10 is not great for standing, so I try to cut a lot of that out so we're not staring at the ground. Also, my battery died about halfway through the third lap, so basically this race is of the first and second laps, but nothing too crazy happened. I mean, you can see by the lack of a crash reel, where I normally have my intros consist of all the crashes that I'm in, or funny little things that happen, but yeah, a couple slight tip overs, nothing too extreme. I had a lot of close calls, and I definitely bounced my shoulders and forearms off plenty of trees, as I'm sure everybody else did. But look at this dirt. Pretty darn good, nice and moist. Plenty of grip through here. I was a little worried that the pine needles might be covering the trail and making it pretty slick, but that was a total non-issue. So yeah, CVTR, tight, twisty, pine trees, lots of them. Did I mention the pine trees? Yeah, kind of notorious for being pretty tight and kind of choppy too. You can see like right through there. Plenty of choppy terrain as well. Now, this isn't my favorite style of track, but I will say I had a blast on this course. And I think one of the things that I liked so much about it was that it was kind of humbling. It forces you to really focus on the fundamentals, to do the things that you know you should be doing, but perhaps you get a little lazy and you don't do. So I really liked that. I felt like I walked away a better tight woods rider. Still a lot of work to do, but great track. And it was really odd too. So it was tight and twisty, like you're bobbing and weaving and you're kind of sliding your bars through trees in a lot of areas. But there was still like fast sections where you could maintain speed, and there were even some sections where you could pass pretty good too. But that was kind of a double-edged sword though, because you may see a good opportunity to pass, but then all of a sudden that alternative line could shut down on you with like two pine trees that are just way too close together. So you had to be careful when you chose to take an alternative route, try and get around people. Sometimes it was obvious it was going to be clean and easy, and sometimes it was a pretty high-risk move. But yeah, we start to pick up the pace here, starting to get into a little bit of a flow state. Yeah, like right here's a good example too. Like this rider gets caught up a little bit, and I didn't really leave myself much of a place to go here. Joe gets around. Nice. Yeah, he and I finished really close. Lots of good back and forth, at least in the beginning here. So I just tucked in, started following behind him a little bit. And I will say I'm also getting a lot better at mitigating arm pump. I've gone on and on about that in a lot of these voiceovers, just because it's something I struggled with, and I know that a lot of other people do too. But mine was so intermittent. Yeah, all right. I got to sneak around. Make the pass there. But I'm a true believer that arm pump is caused primarily by riding beyond your needs. People talk about nutrition, hydration. I'm sure that those are contributing factors, but in my very humble experience, very short experience, anytime I'm actually focusing on riding within my means and noticing arm pump come on and then, maybe dialing it back, I never get it. Sure, I get a little bit of fatigue, but never to the point where it gets dangerous. So I'm just going to keep doing that because that's working for me. Ride within your means, and it seems like everything's going to work out. As far as the old arm pumpy, yeah, nice steep drop off right there. That was pretty fun every time. Quite a few of these little chain link wooden bridges. I love that chain link. Gives you lots of grip. Tried to make a pass right there. Couldn't fully execute. Tried to sneak around, and I let my brother get in front of me. Then I tried to get back in front of him, and I stall. So that was a bummer. He's normally a little bit faster than me. I've said it before, but I feel like I'm closing the gap. So he only did 2 laps today because he had to duck out early, but his 2 laps were approximately 1 minute faster than each of my first 2 laps, where normally they may be like 1.5 minutes to 2 minutes. So maybe I'm closing the gap here. Another good example of nowhere to go. So he had a stall right there trying to get by that rider. Nowhere to go. I just kind of had to sit and wait. Which is cool because I get some sweet footage of him. Yeah, and he and I were talking on the phone too. We love the idea of just trying to pass people straight up. Like, I'm not really in the business of yelling out or woo-wooing or giving the revs, unless I think the person's like a lot slower than me, which is rare. I just try and make a pass happen. Safely, obviously, but makes it makes you better at passing when you're forced to try and find a spot and you don't rely on just yelling at people. On the flip side of that, if you do hear people on your butt, maybe look for a spot to get over and let them by. I get passed a lot, and I'm starting to pass people, so I see both sides of it 110%. So he eventually kind of just snuck away from me there and never quite caught back up to him, even though he was only maybe a minute ahead up there. Some more of that tight, rough stuff. Oh man, I'm out of shape too. Last year I was in way better physical shape. I was 10 pounds lighter. My cardiovascular endurance was great, and my muscular endurance was great too, to the point where I could push it hard physically and mentally the whole race and not ever really get worried about riding super sloppy. But the first 2 races of this year, my lack of being in shape is kind of really come into focus. The final 30 minutes of the course, man, I was getting sloppy. My form was breaking down, all that stuff. But what I liked about this course is it did, yeah, here you go, tight little spot trying to work around. It forced you to really focus on the fundamentals. When you know you're getting fatigued like that towards the end of your race, it really forces you to focus on weighting your foot pegs, leaning forward during acceleration, backwards during decel, weighting the outside peg in a lot of these turns. And man, one of my biggest bugaboos now is throttle control, especially when I'm later in the race when I'm tired. So these 4-strokes got so much snap, so much torque right off idle, that you really gotta have good throttle control and work that clutch. And when you don't, all that torque can just lift the front end up real easy. So on hill climbs and stuff, or on some of these choppy turns, you can get yourself into trouble real quick. A decent amount of these faster gravel lanes, kind of transitioning between 2 like woods sections, really got to enter those woods on point too. There was a couple of times where I came flying through. Oh, I make a big mistake right here. Listen to this rider. You can tell I just cut him off. So whoever that was, they stayed on the trail and kept going, and I went off trail to get around that guy, and I made the mistake of not looking back on the trail to see if someone was coming. So that's my bad. I got to be better about that. I pull over and let him by here. That's a quick way to get T-boned. Yeah, I got to a flow state pretty quickly, for me at least, on lap 1. I think I was just really focused today, and I listened to some Limp Bizkit on the way in, just, taking it back to the old school. So, maybe that was the trick, I don't know. But yeah, no arm pump issues. I really focused on trying to stay sharp, trying to stay focused, especially like what I was doing with my body position and all that. And the other thing I'm getting a lot better at too is front tire placement. So like I said, I walked away from this course feeling a lot better about my tight woods riding. Got a long way to go, no doubt, but little things like knowing where to put that front tire in order to weave through the trees as fast as possible. Now, I don't always execute it, not even close, but at least I'm much more mentally aware of seeing the correct line for your front tire. I mean, I hit it, but I can see where it should be. And I know when I do it wrong, too. At least some of the time. Which makes woods riding, which makes tighter woods riding more fun. When you start to make improvements like that, man, it gets way more fun. Because this can be really frustrating when you're first starting out too. You get arm pump, you know, your hands are fried. Frustrating for sure. Thank you. Really starts to pick up through here. This was a cool little section. You could go right or left and just kind of bob and weave. Pick a line and pin it. Very cool. Woo! Like right there, being able to weave through that and maintain speed. So I did have plenty of slow sections too that I'm just cutting out because that's pretty boring. Also cutting out wherever I'm just kind of riding alone. So most of this video today is just of my first and second lap. But my third lap was actually my fastest. I was surprised too because I was by far the most fatigued and I could feel that that tree. I do that line twice before finally correcting it and not hitting those trees on the third lap. But yeah, I thought because of body fatigue and everything and mental fatigue that my third lap would have been my slowest, but it was my fastest. Oh yeah, cool spot up through here. You could really open it up, lots of like natural jumps and stuff. A couple people make some really good passes up through here. You had this little chicane that slowed you down a bit into a little bit of powder. Basically the only dusty spot that I remember of the course. Someone else gets a good pass right up here too, going into the woods. Woo! Nice. Right into a nice descent. Little curvy descent. Ooh, off-camber turns like that. Those can be... Gotta be focused for those. I can tell though, one area where I am still just completely clueless is rear brake manipulation. Like I remember during, I took the riding clinic for Patty Holloway and he was telling us about rear brake usage for, you know, kind of for beginners and intermediate and then like AA level riders, and he uses his rear brake all the time for many different reasons too. One of those being like the stabilization of the rear end through a lot of the chop and the twisty turns. So I can kind of understand the concept, but it's putting it into practice that I'm struggling with. So that's one of the things I want to start working on next for sure, is using that rear brake as a stabilizer and to help turn. This spot got pretty tight and twisty, lots of turns. See what I mean? Pretty tight, but fast, especially through here. Basically straight lines. You just had to be worried about not clipping trees. Yeah, lap one, feeling good. I think I basically stayed in 12th place the whole way. Lap one, lap two, and then I think I finished about 12th in my class of approximately 20 riders. Excellent showing. Yeah, the weather was fantastic, especially compared to the first week where it was snow, mud, and everything in between, or the first race of the season 2 weeks ago. So a lot more people came out for this one. And we got a treat. So lap two, I feel like I hit flow state my best. Stayed in it for the longest too. Yeah, here's those hill climbs. Oh boy. Oh, barely made it up that one without stalling. Yeah, I started taking this inside line up these rocks here. Just gotta hit that more speed and it'll probably be smoother. Those ruts were getting very deep, so people were starting to drag their pegs, I think. Yeah, lap 2 feeling good. Again, no major mishaps, just, you know, clipping a few trees here and there. Got a few scrapes on the arms and stuff, but nothing too bad. Bobbing and weaving. And doing a lot more leaning, not turning the handlebars. That's when you know you're going slow, is when you're turning your handlebars instead of just leaning the bike over. So trying to remember that through here. These trees, though, they will jump out and bite you. I remember last year I hit a couple pretty hard. They'll get you. My bro actually had one of his craziest wrecks yet. Said he had a total get off and ended up landing into a tree with his back. He's okay, 100%. He had a solid chest protector on with a nice strong back protector. I've done that same thing before, just trail riding, trying to do some hill climbs. Fell down I was falling back down the hill, but my back was facing towards the downhill, and I landed right on a tree. Still letting some people pass by here, but at the same time not trying to interrupt that flow too much. So me and this rider here in the bright orange had a nice little back and forth for a while, and they kind of let me by up here. I'm not asking to pass or nothing, but if someone gives it up, I'll take it. I do that from time to time too. Like if I got somebody behind me and I'm just extra fatigued or for whatever reason and I'm kind of riding sloppy, I'll just pull over and let them have it. If I'm faster than you, I'll recover and I'll catch up and I'll take it back. Otherwise, go ahead. Right back into that steep drop off. GoPro never does it justice. Yeah, if you got any camera recommendations, I'd love to hear them. I'm looking for like the trifecta. You want long battery life, great field of vision, and also like a high image quality. I've yet to find the camera that does all those things really well. I've tried a GoPro Max 360 with the front-facing lens. Great battery life, great field of vision, not as high of image quality. And I've also tried the GoPro Hero 10 Black. Better image quality. Battery life is okay, but not quite long enough, and the field of view just isn't as good either. You got all these new technologies like Horizon Lock. Oh, I love this section. You wide open, you go through that little chicane, then you go back wide open around the sapling. Nice right-hander back into the woods. Yeah, let me know what camera options you're rocking, if there's anybody even watching this late into the video. With AMA's new rules, you can't have a camera on the helmet anymore. I know a lot of people still do that, but whatever. I just don't. Nice choppy section. Kept you honest. I did way more sitting than I should have done this race, but actually I did force myself to stand though for quite a bit of it, especially on that third lap when I knew I was fatigued and more capable of making a mistake. Perhaps that's why I had my fastest time on my third lap. I mean, I really burnt up the quads and the calves. Forced myself to stand on that third lap. That must have been it. Yeah, fast and flowy. Nice hill climbs here. Great course. Great course, great weather. It was in the low 70s. A little bit of sun, a little bit of overcast here and there. So yeah, there's that bad line again.
That was a terrible line.
As I contemplate stalling the dirt bike. Hard charging. Well, hard charging for me. There's that bobbing and weaving, trying to get smoother and smoother at that. So I chopped my bars, but I might even... I'll probably leave these ones where they are, but then my next set of handlebars, instead of 1.25 inches to 1 1/3 inches, maybe I'll take like a full 1.5 inches to 1 2/3 inches off in total length. Oh, it feels so nice not hitting trees with your handlebars. Because that's how you can pinball. You hit one, which throws you off, then you end up hitting the next one right behind it. That's not a fun feeling. But yeah, I'm going to miss the next few races for sure. This is my last one for a little while. With the little one on the way here. Maybe I can make a few towards the end of the season. That'd be really nice. I know I'm going to have the itch real bad. But I got to go hashtag dad life. That section was fun. Nice wide open and fast, but there were plenty of like lumps and bumps all over the place to keep you honest. Yeah, another nice hill climb here towards the end of the lap. So yeah, this is closing in on the end of lap 2. I ended up getting a 3rd. Nothing too dramatic. I had my one little tip over in the mud, but pretty quickly got up, straightened out, and hit the trail again. Yeah, still in 12th there. Yeah, I think I maintained 12th place the whole way. Pretty wild. Alright, well that's basically it. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'm looking forward to being back out there and racing with y'all. And have a good beginning and mid-season, and I'll see you towards the end of it. Thanks.